Welcome to the Falcon News Podcast. Everything you need to know to ship like a pro. In this podcast, we will be sharing our true experiences, lessons learned, and challenges faced in the freight forwarding industry. Today, meet Patrick, the CEO of Falcon.
Today we will discuss supply chain success, your roadmap to stress-free shipping. Hello, Patrick. How can a freight forwarder help me have visibility in the market?
You need to ask him, how's it looking out there? But normally your freight forwarder will provide you with some news either on a weekly basis or on a monthly basis. They should be providing you with updates on the markets and what ports are being closed or what labor issues are going on or what routes are being redone or where container are being rerouted. There is a lot of changes in the supply chain. So news is one way to keep informed. I always like to inform my clients specifically on their challenges. What does it mean to me, sort of say. So if you tell them that the port of Vancouver is congested, but they have no containers going through the port of Vancouver, it doesn't affect their business, so they're not really interested in that. But if they know that, for example, there's a bridge collapse in Baltimore and they have some machinery that is being imported from Europe, they're going to want to know, and they're going to want to know immediately what's going on. So it's really by collaboration that your freight forwarder will be able to help you make the right decision. It's by offering him an insight into your business and him sharing his outlook on what's going on in the market. And that's really how the freight forwarder will be able to help you with your logistics.
Why is it important to provide transparency in the supply chain to my freight forwarder?
Well, if your freight forwarder understands that your suppliers are maybe delayed because of, or that you're running out of inventory, these are signs that there's something wrong with your supply chain, because you should not be running out of inventory, but you should not also keep 3 warehouses full of inventory just because you don't trust what's going on in the supply chain. So I think that it's important to share with your freight forwarder the outlook on your business. We will invest in machinery. Well, we've got a project department that can help you with that. We have purchased a new lane to make some new products, and these machines are going to be built in Taiwan, but once they're ready, we're going to need them immediately so that we can go into production. Well, air freight might be a good solution for that. So by sharing ideas and understanding the complexity of your supply chain and what's going on within your enterprise, whether it's inventory, production management, it all affects the transport that you will need down the line, because it always starts and ends with transport.
How can a freight forwarder help me mitigate risks in logistics?
So obviously, if you do business in an international environment, there are a lot of risks. Number one, rate of exchange, right? So you're buying a machine made in Europe, they pay in euro, they sell it to you in US dollars, or they sell it to you in euros. There's always a rate of exchange risk. So that's the number one risk. Then there's Incoterms, of course, because Incoterms determine the risk, the liability, and the cost of freight throughout the supply chain. So I always tell my clients, before you purchase anything, give me a call. We'll talk about Incoterms. We'll talk about the way that they put the transportation within their quote. So say that we'll deliver it to you. There's a cost to that. Nobody wants to take that risk. Rate of exchange, but also transportation costs. You have a container that was $2,000 at the beginning of the year from, let's say, Shanghai to Long Beach. Now it's $8,000. So, when you say triple and quadruple the price of cargo or container within a 6 months period, that affects your supply chain. It will also affect the price of your products you're importing. So by being able to talk to your freight forwarder about these challenges before you make a purchase will help you mitigate the cost. There's also insurance that is also available. Make sure that you have insurance, because sometimes you'll have insurance, corporate insurance, which will only be for domestic cargo, but not apply to international cargo. So make sure you are always covered. We provide insurance to our clients, whether it's air, ocean, or project cargo, and it's complete insurance, marine insurance or international transport insurance that covers also the trucking portion of the cargo. So you have to make sure that your cargo is insured, that you made the right decision, and that the risk of you running out of products is the biggest risk, right? Because you want to make sure you deliver something you sold so you can get paid, or you go into production with material you purchased overseas. You cannot slow down production, and you cannot slow down the end product from being delivered. So the supply chain and to collaborate with your freight forwarder will help you make the right on a daily basis, really.
Well, this brings us to the next question. How can the freight forwarder help me make the right decision?
So your freight forwarder will ask you the basic question: when is it ready? When does it need to be delivered? That's the most important question. A lot of people tell you, well, it's going to be ready in 2 months. Well, when do you need it? Because that will determine the amount of transit time you'll be able to live with. So if you're going into, for example, you purchase 10 containers of a certain product, all shipping at the same time, and you got plenty of inventory, well, then you want a competitive rate because the transit time isn't an issue anymore. But if you're running out of products and you don't want to be, having to air freight all of these material, or even delivering a finished product to your client by air, something you may not have budgeted to start with, that will create some tension and problems. So your freight forwarder is able, with the right questions, to help you choose the right mode of transportation. It's always a combination. We have something called, for example, Falcon Ocean Express, and that something I'll discuss later in the interview. But the Falcon Ocean Express basically is we avoid the rate altogether. We get on board at the last port, which the carrier will take some cargo, and we exit at the first port on the other side, so that you have a very quick ocean transit, truck to the port, truck from the port at the other end. And that's the fastest way to do ocean freight and avoid air freight. But that's only one combination. There's 100.
Thank you, Patrick, for explaining the freight forwarder partnership for a stress-free shipping.
It's a pleasure.
Thank you for listening. If you like this episode, please take the time to add your comments below and follow us. Go to falconfreight.ca to learn more.